what do you want to call it? Playoff first week, college football playoff first round week. We'll call it that. College football
It's like
playoff
week.
first.
Yeah, it's like week 1, part 2.
Week 1, part 2. How about that? Week 1, part 2 of college football season. As we're recording this, I'm watching the Staff DNA Cure Bowl between South Florida and Old Dominion. And
I need to get that on the TV.
Yeah. And this Friday, before you even get to the playoffs, you're going to get Kennesaw State playing Western Michigan in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. We're going to have plenty of games, and the biggest ones, though, are going to start in Norman, Oklahoma on Friday night. Alabama going to Oklahoma. Bama right now is a -1.5 point favorite. The over-under at 40.5. Ugly for a first-round playoff game. Oklahoma obviously won the first matchup this season, 23-21 in Tuscaloosa, forced 3 turnovers, really started the decline of Ty Simpson that we saw in November, started the incline of the November Oklahoma Sooners. I mean, they won their last 4 games, did everything they needed to do, got themselves in the playoff, really jump-started with that game. Oklahoma won this game last year in Norman when Jalen Milroe went over there and threw 3 interceptions and basically ruined the season for Alabama. So Oklahoma has experience or has consistent proof that they can disrupt a Kalen DeBoer and Alabama offense. Oklahoma's offense, on the other hand, not good at all since the Mateer injury, which is crazy to think about. Weeks 1 through 6, how much praise this Oklahoma offense was getting. John Mateer was Heisman favorite, yada yada. So there's basically 2 offenses that are not playing well, but have had 2 weeks to prepare. Who's going to have a better rushing attack is probably, it's a big thing, right? But both these teams can't run the ball anyway. So how big of a thing? I don't know. Jam Miller looks to be good to go for Bama. Torrey Blaylock has been the leading rusher for Oklahoma. Jaden Ott, you guys remember that guy? I don't know what he does. Will they have a day good enough where it takes the pressure off of Mateer and Ty Simpson, or will they be, Oklahoma going to have to rely on Mateer's legs the whole game and his arm? Ty Simpson going to have to throw the ball 50 times. I think there's a reason the over-under is as low as it is at 40.5. It's going to be hard to find confidence in either team, even with this extra time, because both defenses have the extra time too. And I'm just going to roll with the hotter team, and I'm going to roll with Oklahoma. I think they're going to get it done again. First of all, they own Alabama. They lead the country in sacks, and I think they're going to cause some pressure at home. The whole did you guys see where the whole school has no class that day, which is kind of crazy that there's even class on December 19th or December 20th. I mean,
Yeah.
taking final exams a little late here in Norman, Oklahoma. But look, the place is going to be rocking. They have had a great November. They're going to keep it rolling. They've had extra week of rest compared to Oklahoma, compared to Alabama, who had to play in the SEC championship game. And I think they're going to get to Ty Simpson. I think it's going to be they're going to cause some turnovers. It's going to be a great first round game, which is all I'm really hoping for at the end of the day, because obviously last year we had all these blowouts, and I just want to see a really good game.
Yeah. And I do think we will at least get that, Garrison. And if I agree with you, I'm going to take Oklahoma in this one. I think what you said was pretty spot on. Just because, I'm going to say this. I'll say this much. I don't think either one of these teams are that great. I really don't. I think this is a competition to see who's going to lose in the Rose Bowl next week. This is what this game is, because we can talk about the flaws that Alabama has and Ty Simpson not looking great, the run game not looking great, their defense is as physical as it's been in years past we're used to. But, let's not forget, Oklahoma has plenty of flaws, too. This is a team, the last game of the season, beat LSU by 4 points. This is a team that beat Missouri when Missouri has been terrible down the stretch. They beat them by 2 scores. We don't have any world beaters on either side, in my opinion. But I do think that the one what's the word I'm looking for? The one group that I can really put some faith in is Oklahoma's defense. And they've been good all year. They made me look like a clown because I was calling them out, saying I don't think that it's, all that. I had one good week. I had one really good week where it started to look like my take was going to be good, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to put my faith in Oklahoma. I'm going to put my faith in John Mateer being able to make just a play here, play there. Guys, Ty Simpson has been brutal. Hey, he's been brutal down the stretch. There's really no other way to put it. It's not like he's just regressed. He's gone to a whole nother level. He was we went from him being the number 1 overall draft pick, leader for the Heisman Trophy, to now like he's just another Jimmy and a Joe, right? He's just another dude. So I just don't see if I just don't think I can put faith sitting here and say I think he's going to make enough plays on the road in Norman to be able to kick him off. I wouldn't necessarily be shocked. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to 2 to 3 plays here and there. I mean, it's a 1.5 point spread for a reason, right? But I just don't think I see him making enough plays. You're muted.
So, thanks for Jake for those contributions, by the way, by letting me know that I was muted. I'm looking at the injury report here, and that was the first question whenever I wanted to break down the analysis of this game. Like, what does it actually stand? Because, we talked about it earlier this week and last week that they are extremely beat up, speaking about Alabama. And, you look at the injury report, I don't see Jam Miller listed at all. Okay, so I think he's full go. However, the backup running back, Riley, number 28, he's a big guy. He is out. And LT Overton's out, which is huge. That is huge. That's like their best player on defense, okay? This is a huge hinge game. Shout out Josh Pate for Alabama's program, I think, and Kalen DeBoer's entire tenure. And the reason why is because, to me, Bama is Alabama. Like, we're in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? They have been Alabama by Oklahoma 2 times in a row now. One in their own place, the other to ruin their other season. And now you're going to let them put you out of the playoffs? And by the way, the formula's been the same just about every time, okay? It is make Bama turn the ball over. Don't turn it over yourself. Get a couple sacks, a couple turnovers, run the ball. You'll probably score more points than them. And it's worked. If they pull it off again, it's going to be really, really loud for Kalen DeBoer. And it already is because it's Alabama, but it is going to be jet engine loud in Tuscaloosa for the entire offseason. And just wait until they play Oklahoma again and see how loud it really gets. Because this is starting to become like, I don't want to say it's Kirby and Bama. It's close. It's close. And I don't think there's any truth to Kirby actually struggling with Bama. I think Alabama just plays so out of their freaking minds because they respect Georgia that they beat him every time. Oklahoma does some stuff on
Not every
defense.
time. Not every time. I mean, we did beat them by 3 scores last time we saw them.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Was that 2 weeks ago? Oh, yeah. Listen, it's just, I feel like it hadn't even stuck in my memory. It's not even in the lexicon because it never happened. Like, you're just like, oh, whoa, okay. But anywho, we just saw Bama at their worst. I think we're going to not see them play at that level again. I'm taking Bama this week. I got a feel on it. I really think Mateer is that far away removed from his injury that it shouldn't matter anymore, but he still has thrown the ball piss poorly. Last time I watched Oklahoma, they played LSU and they barely beat them. Like it was 13 to 10 in the fourth.
Mateer threw like 3 interceptions that game.
And they had to have a major explosive play in order to go up in that game, and it happened like 6 minutes left in the game. I watched that game like a hawk because I was like, that was huge playoff implications, and nobody cared about Oklahoma LSU, but that was a insane game for them to be able to pull off at home, by the way, at night. Frank Wilson about stole one. So I have little to no confidence in either one of these two teams. It's amazing that we do all this barking about who's going to be the 10th team, who's going to be the 12th team, and the 8 and 9 seeds feel just as weak in terms of how they're playing right now as the 12th seed. I mean, that's where I'm at.
That's what's so backwards about this model that we have. And everyone wants expansion. They want to go to 16 teams. We already have enough mid teams in the playoff where we don't need it. And we're going to expand the 16, right? Because, I mean, just wait until you see the numbers that come out of this game on Friday. They are going to be huge. So many people are going to watch this game. So many people are going to watch the Texas A&M Miami game. It is going to make those schools so much money. So it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. But in the grand schemes of like finding a national champion, there's no point of this. This should be the Cotton Bowl. This should be the Sugar Bowl or something like that.
I'll say this. I think if Alabama wins this game, I have a lot more confidence that Alabama can go and beat Indiana than Oklahoma can go and beat Indiana. Like Oklahoma, there's no chance in hell Oklahoma gets past this game. Like if Oklahoma goes to the Rose Bowl, it'll be nice. Oh, nice, we made it to the Rose Bowl. Like if Alabama goes to the Rose Bowl, like I still think they'll lose, you would think, but I I could talk myself into Alabama beating Indiana a lot more than I could talk myself into Oklahoma beating Indiana. And if Alabama, I'm just playing hypotheticals. If Alabama wins this game, and then they go beat Indiana, then all of a sudden you got to be like, oh, here's Alabama. Alabama's back, and then
right back
They
where they
beat
were. Like
Oregon, yeah.
if they do pull out the run game just out of the hat, I mean, it's possible. It's not completely impossible. They pull the run game out of the hat. Like, let's say DeBoer has had this thing, he's been, layering the play out for weeks. So I want to lose to him twice so I can be in the playoffs next year. You know what I'm saying? That kind of play where he just has been hiding all the run schemes. They're just in the back of the playbook. They look in a closet one day, and him and Ryan Grover's like, we forgot about those plays. Let's go get those. So use those. Very unlikely it happens, but it could.
good.
I mean, last time we saw Jan Miller in the Auburn game, they ran for a lot of yards, right? So
Yeah, they did, but they had to use.
He'll be back.
They had to use the quarterback run too to help that, and I think that's got to be something they incorporate this game. And the same for Mateer. Mateer's got to stop having these like games where he's got 8 rushes for 28 yards. That's got to not be the thing for Oklahoma to win this game.
Yeah, no, he had a rushing touchdown last time they played Alabama, so seems like he'll need to do something like that again. All right, 2 for Oklahoma, 1 for Alabama. Okay, let's talk about Miami going to Texas A&M. Kyle Field minus 3.5 point favorite, over under at 49.5. I think this is universally the most the game that everyone is most excited for. We already saw Oklahoma, Alabama this season. So, we're excited for that in a way, but those teams we just talked about it kind of declining. Miami and A&M, these teams haven't played. They're actually very similar. It's some fresh blood, basically, is what I'm saying. The matchup is the same. These teams are very similar, though. Hold on. Did I say it right? It's fresh blood. These teams haven't played. Everyone's excited to watch it. Okay. These two teams are pretty evenly matched, pretty similar. The quarterbacks stats right here. Let me tell you this. Carson Beck, 3,072 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Marcel Reed, 2,932 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Obviously, Marcel Reed has some more ability to run with his legs than Carson Beck does. We'll see how that pans out. Miami does have a top 10 rushing defense in the country, so, a little strength on strength there. Both teams have incredible playmakers on the outside with Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion for Texas A&M, Malachi Toney, been one of the best players in college football for Miami this year. Both D-lines are top 20 in sacks and cause quarterbacks to make bad decisions. I just read you the quarterback stats. They will make bad decisions when prompted. Last time we saw Texas A&M, though, they played a team up to their standards and talent in Texas, which was like the first time we had seen them do that since, you could say, Notre Dame back in like week 2 or week 3, whenever that was. And they got wonked. I mean, that's the last time we saw Texas A&M. Miami's been rolling ever since they lost to SMU. Both teams are coming off like 3 weeks rest. Neither played in a conference championship game. The spread's at 3.5, basically telling you that if these teams were playing in the Cotton Bowl or in the Hard Rock Stadium for the Orange Bowl or whatever, that this would basically just be a. I'm just gonna go with the home field advantage here that Texas A&M is gonna have. I've seen Carson Beck struggle in SEC stadiums. I've seen him throw multiple interceptions against SEC defenses that cause pressure. I think it'll happen again. I think Miami, as much as they are going to be able to match up like on the lines of scrimmage, and I think this will be another great game, which again, rooting for. Could you imagine? Because the back half 2 games, we're probably not going to get that great of football. But could you imagine after what we did last season, if we could have the first 2 games just be like 1-score games? I mean, oh my God, we would love it. And then I'm just saying. But I'm going to go with A&M. I think Marcel Reed makes less mistakes. I think the defense makes more plays for A&M. I think Carson Beck has 1 or 2 plays that you're just going, there he is. There's Sid the Sloth. That's why Hannah Cavender, whichever one it was, left him. I don't think Miami's the most mentally strong team. They did go on a run and did what they needed to do, but I just think turnovers are going to be a big thing in this game, and Carson Beck is prone to doing that.
Well, this is funny because you were always anti Texas A&M like all season, and you're picking them to win here, and I was pro Texas A&M here, and I'm going to pick Miami to go into into Aggieland and come away with the win, just for a few reasons. I know we've seen like what you say is a valid point. Like I've seen Carson Beck struggle. I've seen Marcel Reed struggle against SEC defenses. I watched that South Carolina game, and here's the thing: we can say that second half was awesome. Like they really came out and they showed something. But I mean, all that's on tape, and I know that Miami's got a ton of talent on defense, and I think they're going to be able to exploit Marcel Reed's arm. I think they're going to because if you watch Marcel Reed, he's not attacking you in the mid game. He's not attacking you with short game. He's attacking you with deep balls. Okay. That is his game. He runs, he scampers, then he throws a bomb. That is how Marcel Reed operates, is how he gets the ball down the field. It's not necessarily terrible, but theoretically it's easier to take away than somebody who's just able to drop back 5 steps, 7 steps and hit like a 20-yard in or something like that. They do that consistently. That's the hardest thing to stop in the game of football. So my thought here is I think if we're looking at any team that is playing this weekend that has a chance to really make a run. Now, obviously, these two teams got a crappy draw, and this is the matchup that plays Ohio State next week, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I don't think either of these teams are going to beat Ohio State. But if you're talking in terms of talent and ability to possibly make a run, look no further than the Miami Hurricanes. They have tons of talent. We can look at that SMU game that they lost. I'll say a few things about that. They lost in overtime. They lost on the road. They clearly weren't clicking. But look at since then. They kill Syracuse. They kill NC State. They kill Virginia Tech. They kill Pitt. I mean, they've been rolling ever since that game. I think Miami's playing just as good as ball as anybody. Now look at Texas A&M, and really the two games that just I can't get out of my head for Texas A&M is that first half against South Carolina, where Marcel threw 3-4 picks in the first half, and then that game against Texas, where you look at the scoreboard, it's 27-17. It doesn't look all that bad. They were behind that entire game, and I don't know if there was ever really a spot where I was like, okay, Texas A&M is about to get it rolling. They're about to get back in here. So I think Miami, the home field advantage is real in Aggieland. It's real. It's like the biggest stadium in college football. They're going to be rocking. They're going to be doing their stupid ass like gun celebration, with their male cheerleaders. But I think Miami's going to be able to get it done.
It's an interesting adjective you threw in there about the cheerleaders there. Anywho, I think that if there's anybody left in this 8, 9, 10 range of playoff teams, Miami's the most talented team by far. And I'm taking Miami to win this game. I just think the last 2 times I saw Marcel Reed, he turned that bitch over. The South Carolina game and the Texas game. And you can, Sanford in between there, 48 zip. I don't even think that was a completely clean game out of him. So just go look at the last month of work for Marcel Reed and what it's looked like. I think that the Miami Hurricanes secondary might be the best one that A&M has seen this year, which is something obviously you're probably not going to hear very much of because who's watching Miami football during the regular season after they, I think they're going to play well. I think Beck is experienced enough that he'll be able to manage, and hopefully Cristobal and the OC go in there and they tell him that he needs to manage instead of trying to play hero. Like he doesn't need to go and throw for 330 like he did against Bama 2 years ago on the road. He doesn't need to do that to win this game. He just needs to hand it off, give it to Tony when he needs to, and the defense needs the stuff to run. And that's the other hinge point of all this. Like I think they're going to stuff Texas A&M running the football. Interesting to see if Le'Veon Moss is able to make a return for this game. I saw there was rumblings that he may be able to play a little bit, and if he does, he goes a little bit better than everybody else that dresses up in Texas A&M uniforms.
All right. So 2 for Miami, 1 for A&M. Again, we are just wanting good games. Give us a classic. Give us something that just has us on the edge of our seats. These are close spreads for a reason. I remember last year, like none of them were close spreads in the first round. So it's exciting to at least have that. Should be fun. Really excited to see that. All right. And then there's 2 other games. Tulane, Ole Miss, minus 17.5, over under 56.5. And James Madison is playing Oregon. Oregon is minus 21, over unders at 47.5. I think we all are going to agree that Ole Miss and Oregon are going to win their games. Tulane, if you don't know already, Tulane and James Madison, both their coaches, have Power 4 jobs waiting on them as soon as this is over. Caleb, how hard are you going to be rooting for a Tulane cover or a potential win here with your head coach over there in Oxford?
None. I want them in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I want them to start working. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I would like for them to be successful. Obviously, that'd be cool for him, but Tulane's success does nothing for him or me. I mean, well, not it does something for him. It don't do nothing for me at this point. So yeah, if anything, I want Ole Miss to beat everybody at this point because I feel like they've been so wrong by that loser of a coach. I don't know who would ever want him to be their coach.
That's funny.
I mean, give me something about these games, guys. Tulane,
I'll give you something. I think what we're going to see is a strong possibility to be the death of the group of 5 in the college football playoff, especially if we stick with the 12-team model, which I don't know if we are next year. The contract ends after this season, if I'm correct, which I believe I am. And they're going to get a 16. If they get a 16, then I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep one bid in there. But I think we're going to see 2 bloodbaths. I think we're looking at a James Madison team who struggled with Troy. Troy was in the game for the majority of it. We're talking about Tulane, who Ole Miss played this season and throttled them. It wasn't even close. We're looking at 2 blowouts here. I'll tell you this. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see James Madison beat Oregon or Tulane beat Ole Miss. I think it'd be hilarious. I think it'd be entertaining. It'd be cool to see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see 2 bloodbaths. I think we might see some starters get pulled in the fourth quarter to get ready for their games. You know, if Ole Miss is beating the crap out of Tulane, I mean, what's the point of having Trinidad Chambliss in there in the fourth quarter to run up the stats? Hey, get off the field. Let's get ready for Georgia next week. That's how I'm thinking.
Actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ole Miss and Tulane, they've played a lot of times. Like
They're close.
The all-time football series, Ole Miss is 41-27. So they've played 68 times.
Ooh,
So
close, dude.
So
Wait, so this time they play, it'll be what number?
Fine. It'll be the 69th time.
Interesting.
James Madison, Oregon, I don't think I've ever played. James Madison has to go across the country. But I think that's a great point you bring up. Like the fact that we're going to be having playoff games where it's going to be the third quarter and they're probably going to be resting players. Like that is terrible. That is terrible. Where did we come to as a society? Now, let's just say let's play a game. Which one is most likely you go to fourth quarter, it's a 1-score game?
James Madison.
I'd say Tulane.
Tulane's already done it. James Madison plays good football. Like they legit do. I think like Oregon, there's going to be some psychological stuff to both of these teams just going in there and being like, Ole Miss is going to be up because of all the emotion going around them. I think Oregon has a better chance. What do you mean?
If they're not?
Do you think they're not going to play with their hair on fire after
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But tell me this. When teams come out fired up, they can either do one of 2 things. They can come out and they can play awesome, or Trinidad Chambliss can go out there trying to play Superman and turn the ball over a couple times. I think about the Georgia-Bama game back in the day where they came out in them black jerseys. They're fired up. They're playing Soulja Boy in the stadium. They're swag surfing. They're doing everything. Then they go out there. They make a lot of mistakes in that first half. They get really behind. And if you remember the second half of the blackout, Georgia almost came back in that game. In a way, they played a lot better in the second half. I'll say that. The lead was never in jeopardy, but they played a lot better because at that point they got punched in the mouth. They're like, okay, we need to settle down. We need to play some football. I could see potentially that happening in the Ole Miss game. But if I'm being completely honest, I've not watched a lot of Tulane football this year. I've not watched a lot of JMU football this year. The one JMU game where I watched almost the entire game was the game against Troy, and they did not impress me in the slightest in that one. And it was in their backyard. It was at James Madison. They're playing Troy. Oregon's a good football team. Oregon's a heck of a lot better than Troy. And if JMU could not run the football in that game, they cannot pass the football in that game effectively. Who's to say they can do that against Oregon? I think Oregon's going to beat the absolute crap out of James Madison. I
will say this. James Madison has the second best defense in college football in total yards per game.
I'm saying like that's the defense
second against the run, top 10 in points, fifth down. 5th in third down conversion for defense. So they have like a top 10 defense overall. Now they are playing the Sun Belt, but that, that's better than what Tulane brings to the table. Like Tulane has like nothing. They don't rank top. They don't rank top 30 in anything.
No.
So now, to be fair, John Summerall has said that multiple times that he doesn't think his team's that good. So I don't know. G5 playoffs.
Yeah.
Would we have rather seen them just throw Duke in there?
No, I don't think you should reward it. I think this is the right outcome for what went on. And Jake brought up a funny point to me talking about the death of the group of 5. I don't think it's going to be the death of the group of 5 for this playoff scenario. It's going to be close, though. And what I mean by that is they're just going to limit it to 1. Like, you're never going to see 2 people get in there. Because make no mistake about it, there have been in the last 5 years better group of 5 teams than both of these teams in the playoffs right here. Without a doubt. So, like, to say they're irrelevant would basically discount what's happened in history for regarding the
07
group of
Boise.
5.
Can't forget about those guys. That was a dynasty if you think about it. Boise State back in the day. If we had a 12-team playoff back in the day,